Hello everybody, my name's Joe Quick and this is Joe's Quick Review. Today we're looking at the chaotic fun that is RP7, the light-hearted RPG with a slot machine twist. Developed by a studio called Turtle Cream, which I'm not going to read too much into. I like turtles and I like cream, but I'm not sure about the two combined. The game is very easy to pick up and play. You are presented with 7 slots which represent your path through the world. The slots contain things that can progress or impede your journey, such as shields, potions, rats and snakes, but you can mix this up by pressing the corresponding button. It's as simple as that. However, your character makes their own way back and forth across the slots in a timely manner, meaning that it's up to you to spin the slots to something more desirable before they land on that space, and therein lies the challenge. As the game progresses, you're introduced to new environments, opponents and opportunities that make for continuously challenging and entertaining gameplay. Let's dive into the specifics. The art style has this fun, cartoony feel to it, which is somewhere between 3D printable models and claymation, perhaps best comparable to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. One thing I really like is that whilst the slots clearly represent your path, the background transitions as you progress, with little ongoing changes in the environment, such as plants and signposts. The graphics can look a little bit gritty in places, as if in literal need of a polish, and one part that kind of lets it down is the items, as these just don't seem to be at the same standard as the rest of the game's assets. But there's a lot of them, so maybe that can be forgiven. Not much can be said for the animation. You're certainly not going to be blown away by the amount of moves this frog knight has, and most of the objects are generally static. But bobbing heads, wiggling chests and the more exciting boss fights keep things alive on screen. If we take a look at the story, at the exact same moment that you let your pet frog out for its morning walk, a blue crystal floats by your house and disappears down the well. Your frog, being the inquisitive little amphibian that it is, jumps down after it. You don your froggy hat, grab your sword and shield and jump down the well in an attempt to find it. I may have elaborated a bit based on a single cutscene, but I think that's the gist of it. You travel through forests and deserts, fighting a never-ending array of opponents in the first 5 levels of the game, until you come face to face with the Dark Lord himself. But the Dark Lord is the least of your worries, as 2 mystery levels remain, making a total of, perhaps unsurprisingly, 7 levels in RP7. I spent quite a bit of time trying to work out how to unlock these levels, to then realise that they haven't been built in-game yet, so the story's conclusion will have to wait. The game has a really friendly UI. You flip the slots using the keyboard and the keys you need to press are clearly presented under the slots. In the top right corner you'll see how much gold you have obtained, and above your character's head you will see health and armour, represented as hearts and shields. You can collect items on your journey depicted in the bottom left, and these will also appear over the character's head if they are influenced by the number of steps or number of battles you have, with a little counter. The slots themselves are coloured blue for health, green for wealth, and red for something evil, which also helps as you're spinning them around to help identify the good from the bad. Game speed and other controls are highlighted towards the bottom of the screen, and the only other thing to point out is the notifications, which appear at the top of the screen. The notifications are the one thing I don't like because you don't really get the chance to read them whilst you're running back and forth, and one notification may be replaced by another in quick succession, so it's a bit hard to monitor. Controls are easy. When you start the game you're presented with 3 different layouts for your keyboard, and you can choose your preferred method. In addition to this, you can configure the controls to whatever layout you want. If you prefer to use the mouse, you can click on the slots to spin them, but the keyboard generally has a quicker click rate and allows you to spin multiple slots at once. I often found myself using the keyboard with my left hand and the mouse with my right, giving me some flexibility over the gameplay. You can also play with a gamepad, but it's currently only configured for Xbox and my controller didn't want to map to it, so I can't tell you how well it plays using a gamepad. It's been a while since I've played a game where it's worth mentioning the social aspects. RP7 doesn't currently have any online multiplayer functionality, but it does encourage you to split the keyboard 50-50, so your friends can join in the fun. maybe even 7 people could take a slot each. Give it a try. It also has a Twitch integration, which I haven't had the chance to play with, but I think this has a lot of potential for some party fun. This game is way up on the replay scale in my opinion. I've been playing it for a good 15 hours and I still find it entertaining. New things keep appearing, the bosses are randomised and the slots even more so you never know what you are going to get on each playthrough. It can be a bit samey if you are playing it for an extended period of time, but it's very easy to pick up and play for shorter sessions. The soundtrack is very bubbly and light-hearted to reflect the game's overall themes. There are several tracks, or at least variations of the tune for the different biomes you discover, something different for the chests, shops, boss fights and audio cues for virtually everything you can click on, so it does a really good job of highlighting what's happening on screen. I would actually rate this game quite highly for its accessibility. The controls are very flexible in terms of choices and configuration. You can change the speed by 5 different standards, from very slow to super fast, one making the game much easier to play, giving you additional time to spin the slots before you land on it, and the other creating absolute chaos, which can be a lot of fun but reduces your chances of progressing. You can also make the character run, so if slow is a bit too slow for you, you can speed it up as and when required. The game is not dependent on its colour scheme, but instead they complement the good, the bad and the money, that lesser known cowboy film, but each image can be differentiated from the other regardless of colour. As I just mentioned, I think the audio cues in the game are really good, but for the hard of hearing, the transitions in the game are also well demonstrated, with an in-game spotlight or change of background. You're clearly warned when you meet a big bad, so I don't think anything will catch you off guard. The one place where this fouls is maybe the text. Whilst very readable, there is no option to increase the font size, and as I previously stated, the notifications can be a bit hit and miss whilst focusing on the gameplay. But that's still an easy 4 out of 5 in terms of accessibility. If you do give this one a go, play it at a speed that suits you and experiment with controls. After the first run through, you get the option to choose the inventory that is more likely to appear in chests, so choose your favourites there. Personally, I love cheese, in-game and out, as this can give you a shield and health boost. When you're spinning the slots, the colour gives you a good heads up of what to expect, so it may give you an advantage in finding a good item. And more often than not, a 0 item is better than taking damage, especially during boss fights, so don't flip that slot unnecessarily. I won't talk a lot about game design because here it's quite simply what you see is what you get. It started its life in 2017 as a pixel art game of the same nature, but it soon grew into something bigger. RP7 was made with the Unreal game engine, but it definitely isn't pushing the limits of technology or system specs. However, there is a lot to appreciate in its innovative and simplistic gameplay. The game has a really nice way of introducing you to all of its mechanics, subtly adding new elements and challenges into the mix each time you play. It also has a very approachable design, allowing you to choose how you want to play the game, solo or with friends, casual or chaotic. The developers are still making a lot of modifications and improvements to this since its release date on the 12th of September, so I can only imagine more good things are in store for the future, and I'll be keeping my eye on Turtle Cream Game Studio for future releases. I really enjoyed this game. It's easy to pick up, it's a bit different from the everyday release, there's something different every time you play, and there's still more to come. Whether you're a solo player or playing with a friend, I recommend giving this one a try. It's out now on Steam, and the game trailer does a pretty good job of showing you what to expect if you're still wondering what this is all about. As always, if you've played it or you plan to, let us know what you think of RP7. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, keep gaming, and I'll catch you next time.